Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. Boy, it's chilly. I'm probably going to go in and maybe do a couple of more videos. And by the way, as people know, this is Tabor Talk. Tabor Talk, a play on table talk. I shouldn't explain, right? But informal, I have no notes. I don't even have an outline. Okay, so I did a video and I watched it again. I was actually quite pleased with it. The topic was nothing means, what was it? Nothing matters. Nothing means a damn thing. And I put, let's see, nihilism and antinatalism. And if people who are not familiar with antinatalism, antinatalism is the concept that it'd be better off having never been born. Okay, go on Wikipedia, go on Google, or actually there's a great guy, I just subscribe to his channel, and I think it's Antinatalism Outreach. So it's very interesting. There's some great literature, some great books. One guy that comes to mind, I can't think of his name. His name escapes me, but anyway, so I'm thinking, and I was actually just talking to my wife about this, and she goes, that's so fucking depressing. You know, like the thought of, well, like there is no God, and it's just matter in motion, and things are random, and we're born, and then we die, and it's just a blip, and there's no afterlife, and that's it, and we're just animals, and blah, 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 you know. It can be depressing, but if you really think it through, it's not at all. All right, let's just say I have this conversation with theologians, Christian apologists, you know, theists, and they're like, what is the point of going on? Like, if you don't believe in a God, if you just think this is it, you're born, you're dead, and that's it forever, you know, it's like, why don't you just kill yourself? And that remark makes zero sense to me. Okay, so we have the moment, right? The moment is real. I'm doing this video recording here, right? I'm a little bit thirsty. Here's a cup of coffee. All right, I'm going to take a sip. It tastes good, you know? I mean, I'm pretty happy. I'm not doing backflips. Who is? If you're doing backflips every day, there's something wrong with you, right? Because that's not what life is. Life is pretty good. You know, you're like this. Sometimes it's better, and dips, and you know, energy levels and sugar levels and all that. So life is pretty good, and then then it gets bad. You know, when your body starts breaking and you get sick, and go visit an age retirement home, nursing home, assisted living facility. When you see these people whose bodies are broken, they don't work anymore. Their brains, their body and the brain, it's horribly sad. It's just suffering all the time, and life keeps dragging on. All right, so the whole antinatalist philosophy is that the bad essentially, if you want to put it just plain language in a nutshell, the bad outweighs the worse. I remember going back, here's a football analogy. Remember Bill Parcells, for the Giants coach, right? 86, Bill Parcells and the Giants, and then later with the Cowboys and Patriots, right? So afterwards, when he retired, and he goes, do you think about those great victories? And he goes, no, I do, but I think about the ones that got away from me. I think about the losses more. It's fucking human nature, the human condition. We dwell on the negative. We're pessimists by nature, right? Why do we have insurance? Because we're fucking pessimists. You know what I mean? Shit could happen. Shit could go wrong. Shit could perhaps not go my way. Okay, so let me just bring this back in and talk about what I really want to talk about. Is that if you're an atheist, you don't believe in God. By the way, I'm not saying that's my position. I am actually a universalist. I'm leaning more towards there is a God, and that there's something after this life. But the reality is, there's stronger evidence to suggest that there isn't. Let's be clear. If you say there is, then you're playing games. The evidence is not there, right? The evidence for a God, or for an afterlife, or for ghosts, all the stuff that we want, like aliens, or even the AI theory that we're in a simulation. Like, who doesn't want that? We all want something more than this this life, right? You live and you die, and all right. But the reality is, there's no evidence for any of that shit. God, there's zero evidence for this. There might be some arguments, and there's faith and all that, and you have religion for that, but there's no good evidence that, like, 100%. Okay, we know this. There's no evidence that there are any alien or that there's life even on other planets. Now, statistically, yeah, there has to be 100 billion stars in our galaxy, 100 billion galaxies. It just seems like the universe must be teeming with life. But the reality is, we haven't found it. There's no evidence of it. Ghosts, all this, it's just anecdotal stories. There's nothing. None of even are we in a simulation? I think we might be, but there's still no evidence. There's no glitch. If I'm sitting here right here on my deck, and all of a sudden I look to my left and I see in digital form, "Hey Mike, how are you? How do you like your simulation?" Hasn't happened. Okay, getting to the point. Okay, so I kind of digress. Okay, what I wanted to say is, let's just say if there is no God, and this is it. You're born, you're dead. It's like this random thing. You happen to be alive, which is incredible, right? When you think about the odds of you, this is kind of playing on the anthropic principle, but the odds of me, you watching this, and me being here this second is like 1 in a quadrillion, right? So just think about, for me to be here, you think like immediate, like, oh, okay, my parents had to fuck. I'm 56 years old. Like 56 years ago, they had to fuck at that day, that right time, and if they didn't fuck at that time, I wouldn't be me. I'd be a sibling, right? Or what if my parents didn't meet? Okay, a billion things had to happen for me to be here, just immediate. Now think about your parents' parents, then your parents' parents' parents. Now go back thousands of years. Now go back tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, millions. Let's go back to single cell, whatever. If they didn't meet that exact point, you wouldn't be here. Right? Think about the Big Bang. The universe wouldn't be here if there was certain. If you read Robert Lanza's book on all these constants, it's like crazy. I'm not going to get into it here. So the odds of you being here are like 1 in a gazillion trillion, literally, like 1 to the 10, with a million zeros almost. All right, it's really crazy. It is unbelievable that we're here. So, but the thing is, we're here. We're here, and there's no evidence that there's any sort of life after death. I repeat, I lean more towards there is, even though there isn't evidence. Is it wishful thinking? I don't know. Maybe it makes me happier. But here's the thing. Okay, finally getting to this. If there is no God, it's not a bad thing at all. Death is not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. The dying process while you're alive and you're conscious and your loved ones, and the thought, being alive and being aware, like, oh my God, I'm going to leave my loved ones, that sucks. It's horrible, and you're in pain and you're dying. Yeah, that sucks. But I'm just talking about the idea, the concept of non-existence is not bad. Okay, I'm going to read you Epicurean, the philosophy Epicurus, and I think about this all the time. Okay, Epicurus, let me just show you a little picture here. Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. So what the fuck is the problem? The idea of death should not be a bad thing at all. Try to imagine, Neil deGrasse Tyson was asked, he's an atheist. He's not really public. He's not one of those strident atheist guys. He's a scientist, but he doesn't believe in God. He thinks this is it. And he goes, does that depress? He goes, not at all. Like, were you depressed in 1864 when Lincoln was president, in the Civil War? Were you concerned? Were you bothered? Right? Before you were born. Was I bothered, 400 BC when Epicurus was, So just think about before your birth. It shouldn't bother you at all, right? You're not bothered by that. How about, let's think about this as an interesting thought experiment. What if you existed somewhere else? Like say I existed on a planet 100 light years from here. On this planet, I had a life and a family, and I died, and now I'm here. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's a thought experiment. Am I bothered by the fact that I'm no longer a sentient being on a planet 100 light years away? Do I care if I even ever existed? Of course not. Okay. Death is not bad. Death is not bad whether you're religious or atheists. By the way, here's an interesting statistic study. Atheists have less anxiety than theists when it comes to death. That's interesting. I like that. Okay, let me read this and then I'll fade out. Okay? Epicurus, death does not concern us because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. Enjoy your life, people. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.